These books, first of all, seeing that video of Kamala Harris and then these videos of Tim Walz the last few days, man, did we dodge a bullet. Lord have mercy. These books coming out.
Walking into the fire right now,
These books coming out. It can all be told now. I mean, I sat here all during the campaign and was assured Joe Biden was fine. Kamala Harris had the most organic, grassroots-driven campaign. The Democrats were unified. We had a campaign of joy. And everything was hunky-dory. That's what I was told night after night after night. And now all the books are coming out, and it's amazing because a lot of the people who were telling those lies are now going to get paid to write those books.
I think a lot of people,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that betrayal, being lied to their face about Biden's health, about the strength of the party.
Our own government from the White House podium lied to us about his condition and covered it up. And even Ron Klain, the former chief of staff, is now saying things that are crazy when you read them.
So lying is wrong, right, Scott?
Right.
I'm going to hold you to
that.
that.
I agree that we lived through the biggest scandal in modern American politics. John Avlon, yes.
All right.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Democrat Party and Joe Biden because, they lied. They lied big time. And now all of the truth is coming out. There's several books, okay? And I'll play this clip.
He needed, again, fluorescent tape on the floor to show him where to go. He needed teleprompters to talk to small groups, small donor groups. He would put on makeup early in the morning to do cabinet meetings, and then sometimes do the makeup and not do the meetings. Right. So they all knew that there was a level of decline. I think there were varying appreciations for that. We talked to one person who said it was particularly steep in early 2024, but they were doing risk mitigation. How do we make it less likely that Joe Biden falls apart in front of the world?
Yeah, so now the truth is coming out. You guys remember when they called us all liars and that we were putting out cheap fakes, right? I think Karine Jean-Pierre said they were all cheap fakes of Joe Biden wandering off like a lost puppy, not knowing where to go. We were called liars, and it was the truth the entire time. Well, Anna Kasparian went off on the Democrat Party, and I want to go over it with y'all because it's on point. Well, at least part of it. So with that being said, let's dive in.
There were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
She may have told the American people, she may have warned the American people, but she didn't do it compellingly enough to win.
That is the absolute point. And look, when I criticize, I'm criticizing myself. I own this. I'm part of the ticket. And somebody has to come up with a strategy.
Well, some cracks are beginning to form between Kamala Harris and her 2024 presidential running mate, Tim Walz, with the latter taking issue with something Harris said in public recently. Now, last week, Kamala Harris made her first public appearance in months, speaking at the Leading Women Defined Summit in California. This happened last Thursday. And she used this as an opportunity to look at American voters and say the following.
We are seeing organizations stay quiet. We are seeing those who are capitulating to clearly unconstitutional threats. And these are the things that we are witnessing each day in these last few months in our country. And it understandably creates a great sense of fear. Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
I'm just gonna go to you because, no, I'm gonna say it. You were a crappy candidate. And you were part of a group of people who provided cover for a man who was falling apart mentally speaking, but decided to run anyway. Decided to stay in the race for a month after that disastrous debate against Donald Trump. And then when Biden, the most unpopular sitting president, called you up before the debate and told you, remember, kiddo, no daylight between us. Do not differentiate yourself from me. You listened. So to sit there or stand there and give a speech about, I told you so, I told you so. These are the worst people, man. They really are, okay? No, we all knew what Donald Trump was. We all knew. And for all the Democratic ass kissers out there who provided cover for the bad behavior of that administration, they directed their ire toward people like us who kept warning the Democrats, you're gonna lose to Trump, you're gonna lose to Trump, you're pushing unpopular policies, you're gaslighting Americans on the issue of immigration. If you do that, that creates an opening for someone like Donald Trump to come in and do what he's doing in regard to mass deportations, do what he's doing in regard to literally deporting people before they even have a single day in front of a judge to adjudicate whether or not they're undocumented, to adjudicate whether or not they're actually gang members.
Yeah. Well, first off, if we did that with everybody, nobody would be getting deported. Second, it's not very difficult to prove if you're here illegally. That ain't difficult. Or to prove that you're here legally, that's not difficult to do. So just the fact that you're here illegally, you broke the law, you should be deported, and that is what Donald Trump is doing. And the problem that I have with TYT is that they can sit here and say all of this stuff, how bad the Democrat Party is, how they gaslighted the American public, how their policies were unpopular, and yet they still support the same party. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you know that this party that you support has bad policies, they're pushing bad policies, if you know that this party that you support is gaslighting the American public, why do you still support that party? Like, can anybody answer that? Like, I'm so confused. Like, on one hand, like, they make sense, but then on the other hand, it makes no sense, because it's like, if you know this, then why don't you just support the Republican Party? Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. You admit that Democrats, one, are terrible, and they don't do exactly what they tell you they're going to do. They're liars, they gaslight people, and their policies are trash. So why would you support a party like that if you acknowledge it? I'm confused. I am, but carry on.
So for all, by the way, all the left-wing media folks who directed their ire toward me, and they're like, oh, you see that? Anna's getting what she wants. No, I'm not getting what I wanted. I wanted Democrats to stop gaslighting American citizens and acknowledge what was going on in the country and provide their solutions for it.
Too much to ask for.
Too much to ask for. Anna's the problem. Oh, big, strong, big, bad Anna. With all of her power, she's the one who swung the election, right? I can't stand these people. They're the worst. They're the worst.
You see what I'm saying? Like, literally, she's talking about how they're attacking her because she's just speaking the truth, and then says they're the worst people ever, but yet she still supports the same party. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. I have openly criticized the Republican Party. Openly criticized and openly said that I disagree with X, Y, and Z that Trump says. Y'all didn't attack me. So, like, if you acknowledge that your party is crap, but not only just the politicians, but even the voting base, because they attack you for telling the truth, why do you still support that party? Like, that was just not computing with me. I don't know. It just ain't. Signal lost.
Okay, let alone me. I'm going to start with a small thing and then get bigger. So first, I also can't stand her dramatic pauses that never lead to anything. Like, you're supposed to do the pause if you're really going to deliver a point. Like,
I can't stand them.
Every politician is taught this. She's so bad at it. They're always anticlimactic. Okay, that's minor. Now you get to the laugh, right?
Well, Hakeem Jeffries does the same thing. He does the same exact thing. The Democrat Party is a party of frauds. Hakeem Jeffries does this whole, the MAGA extreme Republicans, they're really terrible people, and Donald Trump is trying to destroy the economy. Like, it's like, what? Stop with the act. Stop with the act. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. With the whole hot sauce in the bag, Kamala with the I clean greens in the bathtub. Like, it's all fake, every bit of it.
So guys, if anyone can say "told you so," I would argue that it's us, and I would say even more specifically me. Okay, so why? And then let's talk about the difference in the "told you so's." Number one, a year and a half ago, we started a campaign. Now even longer, I think. To get Biden out of the race. Why? Because we weirdly hate Biden? No, I mean, I'm not a fan of Biden's, but the reason to get him out of the race that early was because he was going to lose to Trump. And what I kept saying on the show, and we did a petition and Young Turks viewers signed it, they should get all the credit. They were prescient enough all the way back then to say, guys, we're not going to beat Donald Trump with a guy who can't talk. We at the Young Turks, our viewers have eyes and ears. And we can see that he's super old, can't finish his sentences, mumbles, repeats. He's a disaster. And his popularity is in the 30s. And for an incumbent in the 40s, you always lose. In the 30s, it's almost impossible to win. So these are just facts. He'd lost Latinos, he'd lost young people. It was nearly impossible to win. So we were the ones who cared the most about Democrats winning and Trump losing. So we're like, can you please try to win? And be like, how dare you? Winning is not important, even though we're saying democracy's on the line and the other side is Nazis. Winning is not nearly as important as protecting Democratic leadership. So if Joe Biden, the incompetent man with obvious dementia, if the Mad King says he's staying in the race and we're gonna lose, we all have to bow to the Mad King. You, Young Turks hosts and audience, and all of you, you guys defying the Mad King is a much bigger crime than Joe Biden's giant ego saying, I don't care if I have dementia, I want it to be me and only me. And I don't care if I lose to Trump, as long as it's me, that egomaniac fool. And all.
So if the entire Democrat Party went along with it, first off, doesn't that tell you where their priorities are? They don't truly care about the people because, as he mentioned, Joe Biden had a terrible approval rating. Nobody wanted Joe Biden. Even Joe Biden's own party didn't want Joe Biden, but they carried on anyway. But then also on top of that, doesn't it tell you that they were lying the entire time when they kept pushing this narrative? Oh, Trump's a Nazi. He's going to destroy America. You know, just doom and gloom. Trump is going to F up everything. And yet they still chose to run with the guy who was the most unpopular president ever. They kept going with him while telling you, hey, we're in a crisis. If Trump gets elected, it's going to be the end of the world. But we're going to keep running with the most unpopular guy ever. You don't see that they were lying to you the entire time? And that's the party that you still support? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, please. Because it makes zero sense whatsoever. Zero. Trump's gonna start World War III. Trump's gonna destroy everything. Blah, 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 blah. The same stuff that they said the first time around. None of it happened. And none of it's happening now. So once again, you lied. But on the opposite hand, I'm happy that they lied. Because in following elections, come 2028, we're going to be able to bring up all the clips. Oh my goodness, the sky is falling. Trump's going to be a dictator. He's never going to leave office. He's going to destroy everything, blah, 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 blah. We'll be able to play all of those clips. And then we'll be able to look where we are in 2028. We'll be able to show that Trump is walking out of, is leaving office and handing the reins off to another Republican. The economy is booming. He didn't start a World War III. Everybody's hunky-dory about everything. Everything is good. Everything is peachy. The prices were down. The gas is down. Egg prices are down. Home prices, like everything. And yet they try to fearmonger us into voting for somebody else. And that's probably what they'll do again come 2028. Oh my goodness, JD Vance. Oh no, absolutely not. You know, how dare he? He's gonna ruin everything. Ain't that what y'all said before? And none of that happened. So on one hand, I'm happy that they went to that extreme because now it won't work anymore. And when they do try it, which they ultimately will, we'll just call it out instantly. Easy peasy. Debunked. But hey, man, if any of y'all can explain TYT to me, feel free, because I'm confused. I'm just so lost with this one. But thanks for tuning in as always. Peace and love. I'm out.